Good morning, second grade math friends. It's Miss Healy. It is our last Monday math of the year. Next Monday, you'll be on summer vacation. Um, One thing I wanted to tell you before I forget is something great that you can work on over the summer is multiplication. Starting to learn some of those facts for multiplication, like starting with the easy ones like zeros, ones, twos, fives, tens. If you can start working on getting those in your head, that would be a great activity to work on over the summer. You could also work on continuing practicing drawing arrays to figure out multiplication problems. Because remember, in second grade, our goal is to know how to figure out a multiplication problem by drawing a picture, as well as what multiplication is, equal groups, putting them together. So those are some great things that you can work on over the summer to help you get ready for third grade, because one of the first couple of units in math in third grade is multiplication. So that's a great little tip for summer practice. Today, what we're going to do is just a quick review of multiplication, so what we've already been doing, and then I'm going to show you how to play the game that you're going to be playing today at home for your independent practice. Okay, so just a quick review of multiplication. This is an old chart from, I think 2 weeks ago when we first started multiplication. We know that multiplication has to have equal groups. And in this example, I have 3 groups and I have 4 in each group. Now, the only way it'll work in multiplication is if they're equal groups. The groups have to be equal for multiplication to work, because I can multiply 3 times 4. I can also draw an array with 3 rows and 4 columns, or 4 in each row, to get a total. I can also use the strategy of repeated addition. So I have 4 in the first row, 4 in the second row, and 4 in the third row. So I have a total of 12. So these are all good things that you can do to figure out, at this point, really any multiplication problem. So the main thing you need to remember going into third grade, and I know I've talked about this before, is that the order does kind of matter. It doesn't matter as far as the answer. You'll get the same answer if you do 3 times 4 or 4 times 3. Remember, we talked about this last week. But what does matter is that your array or your picture or your repeated addition match. So if it's 3 times 4, you have 3 groups or 3 rows with 4 in each row. Make sense? Great. I'm going to show you how to play the game that we're playing today, which is going to be great practice for you writing multiplication sentences and drawing arrays. You could continue to do this over the summer as well. You can play this game with a sibling, a brother or sister, a grown-up that's at your house. But if you don't have anybody to play with, I'm going to show you that. I don't have anybody to play with today. So I'm going to show you how you can play by yourself if no one's available to play with you when you're working on this. What you're going to need is the paper that we attach to the plans. It looks kind of like this. It's just a grid sheet. If you can't print it out, you can just make this. I just made this on this paper. It's just a bunch of squares. You could also use craft paper. You can make it using notebook paper. If you wanted to be super fancy and you have like a really big driveway, you could do this outside of a sidewalk shop. What you need, though, is 2 different colors for your 2 different players. And you either need dice or remember a couple of weeks ago, I had to make a little number cube because I didn't have any and we needed them for a game that we played. So you could make your own number cube with paper and just label the sides 1 through 6. Or you could do the number cards that we've done before too. Put 1 through 6 on some cards, shuffle them up, and draw your numbers. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm playing by myself, so I'm gonna just play against myself. I'm gonna be the green team and the purple team. If you're playing with somebody, each person picks a color. And we're gonna go with green first. If it's the green team's turn first, what we'll do is, it's going to be a little tricky to air roll this, but I'm just going to kind of go like this. Okay, so I have 4, and then my next number, so that's going to be my first number, 4 groups or 4 rows. The next number is 2. So I'm doing 4 times 2. I have to make an array starting in this corner that shows 4 times 2. And I know 4, being first in the problem, means that I have 4 rows. So I need to take up these 4 rows, and then I know that I have 2 in each row, so I should have 2 columns or 2 squares in each row. Okay, so this array shows 4 rows with 2 in each row. I'm going to write that 4 times 2, and I'm going to write what that equals. 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So I write that in the next spot. I'm going to move this down just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Okay, now my turn's up. Now if you're playing with somebody else, that person would then have their turn. If you're playing by yourself, you'll just switch colors, and your starting point is going to be the bottom right corner down here. Okay, same thing. Either you or your partner will roll, and I have 3. So I knew my first number is 3. That's how many rows or groups I have. Roll again. 6. So I'm doing 3 times 6. 3 rows. I need my 3 rows going across with 6 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 3 going up. Okay. So I'm going to write somewhere inside of here 3 times 6 equals, and I'm going to count those up. So I can count this way: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I could count them individually, or I could go across. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 more is 18. Either way, you should get 18. Okay, now it's the green team's turn. Back up again. So I'm going to roll my little number cube. First number is a 2. Hopefully we get something different. So second number is a 5. Okay, the rule here is when it's my turn again on green, at 3 times 5, the only rule is that it somehow has to have at least part of it touching my previous one. So I have one here that's 4 times 2. I'm doing 3 times 5. So it has to somehow touch. So I'm going to just connect it to the top right here. 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each row. So I have, this is 3 times 5. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is going to give me 15. Oops. I want to make the outline part a little bit bigger so you can see where the outlines are. It doesn't matter where it connects or if it connects all the way, it just has to connect to your previous one. Then the next person's turn is up, and they're going to go ahead and go, and they're going to roll, and they're going to get 2 times, let's, magic of TV, 2 times 1. Oh, that's not a very big one. Now remember, I said before, the only rule is that it connects to one from before. So it's got to connect somehow to the purple one. So it was 2 times 1. I'm going to do it down, maybe I'll do it up here, 2 times 1. So I have 2 rows, with 1 in the row. That didn't do very much today. And I'm going to write my multiplication problem. 2 times 1 equals 2. Okay. What you would do is keep going back and forth until you figure out who has captured the most squares. The roll of the dice will this one looks like it was in the lead, right? But then I got one that was super low. All they have to do is connect. The rules are on the sheet, the printable sheet that you can use, but it's just a fun way to practice multiplication sentences and drawing arrays. And you can play until you figure out who has taken over the board the most. Awesome job, guys. We wanted you to know that your second grade teachers are so proud of you. You have just the rest of this week to keep working with school assignments. So keep going. You can do it. You're almost there. And then try to keep practicing over the summer because that's going to be a huge help when you get to third grade. Good job, friends. We're proud of you.